This is the heartbeat of human services, a peek into the inspiring stories of our community and all things DHS. Join us.
Welcome to the Heartbeat of Human Services podcast. We have a special edition today, live from the fair, and we're actually going to be interviewing Janice Lagel. My name is Allison Vota. I'm one of the hosts, one of the co-hosts, and I'm taking over the podcast today so that we can interview Jana. Now, Jana, can you tell us a little bit about the history of the booth here at the fair?
Yeah, thank you, Allison. So the Department of Human Services has had a booth in the past at the Kern County Fair. I'd say we've done it at least 6 years, for 6 years. We haven't in the last 2 years because of COVID, but it's so exciting to be here again this year. And I think what's unique now is that we're highlighting all the different departments within our department, where in the past we were kind of highlighting, things like focusing on encouraging people to consider fostering or things like that. But now we're really promoting everything within the department. So I love that.
Yeah, I think part of when we started building this booth, it was how do we explain what DHS is, correct? Yeah. And so we've kind of created a visual to go along with it, if you kind of want to talk about that.
Yeah, so you're right. Like when we started thinking, we need to be at the fair this year. People want to get out again and do stuff. And then I think you were mentioning, hey, I wonder what we could do. The Barbie movie's coming out, and we were thinking, what could we do to incorporate sort of a family feeling, really? And so then you sort of had the dollhouse idea, and really designed a see-through, or what would you call it, like a look-through?
Yeah, so I mean, it's a house, but split in half, so you can see the inside of it, and each section just has a portion of what DHS is. Mm-hmm. And so, at the top of it is jobs, and jobs, you can ask any county department right now. They are hiring, and including DHS, and we are the largest department here within the county. And so that is one of the most important things that we're trying to get across here at the fair is join us. Mm-hmm. We absolutely love working here, and we love for you guys to work here as well. And then more of Jana's expertise is our resource families. And a lot of the people working here, when you come to the booth, they may not work in that resource area. They may not work in foster care. They may work in Medi-Cal and CalFresh, but this is a great visual for them to kind of dive into and help explain to the community about something that maybe they aren't 100% familiar with.
Right. And I think what's cool too to me is that we get to have all of our staff have an opportunity to work at the booth, which is fun for them, and they are the experts. So we have 52 different slots, but actually 26 slots with 2 people at each slot. So 26 different time slots to work at the fair. And we have people working at our booth that are in CPS, that are at work, or people that work as an human service technician. So, and people who work in employment services. So all kinds of different areas. But we also have information that is available on every topic. So even if someone's working here and they work in CPS, they don't have to know everything. The same with, eligibility technicians. So I think it's so cool. The other idea that you had, or we talked about having in the graphic, is QR codes. And they're just used everywhere now, aren't they?
Yes.
Doesn't it seem like after COVID, they exploded?
Yeah. It was interesting because QR codes started to go on the wayside, and then COVID hit, and it was this magical way of being able to give menus to your customers without having to physically hand them a menu and then wash the menu every single time. And that started out, all over the country. They kind of made a comeback, and people actually know how to use them. And your phone, I don't know if our audience knows this, but your phone, if you go to your photo app, you can actually scan the QR code. A little link indicator will pop up, and it'll take you straight to any of our resources.
Yeah. And what is, okay, this is a silly random question, but what does QR code stand for? Do you know?
I don't.
I'm surprised you don't, because you're like the Google of our department, right? So we'll have to look that one up later. Yeah. So the QR codes, so we have a QR code for jobs. It takes you to the county website to apply for a job and lets you know what the jobs are. We also have a QR code for becoming a foster parent. in Kern County. Another QR code for learning about Medi-Cal and what the requirements are. A QR code for CalFresh, how to apply, what the eligibility requirements are. And then, of course, last and kind of exciting for us is the Holiday Cottage. So the Holiday Cottage is something that the Department of Human Services has been leading the way for 35 years, right, Allison? Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, the Holiday Cottage is something that I knew about before I actually came into the department, and one of the only things I really knew about the Kern County Human Services at the time. Funnily enough, I didn't know that KCDHS ran the Holiday Cottage. I didn't. We've already run into people here at the fair who knew Holiday Cottage, didn't know we ran it. So that's part of the reason we're out here as well, is we're educating the public. And ultimately, we're also trying to get people excited for the Holiday Cottage. If you're not familiar with it, if you're a staff member listening to this and you're not familiar with it, that's okay. We know that there are people on staff that aren't. And basically, the Holiday Cottage is an opportunity for us to give back to the kids in foster care and to make sure that every single one of their Christmas wishes come true. So each one gets to give us one of their wishes. And then with the help of the public, we get to fulfill those wishes for Christmas.
Yeah. So it's fun to start early this year because we do need the public's help, and the public has always been completely generous with the Holiday Cottage and making sure each child gets a gift, like you said. So this year we're opening it up, and maybe we'll do a little competition within other departments, but we've always been blessed by child support. Kern County Child Support has their employees actually do a fundraiser, and last year I think they raised close to $1,500 for the kids for Holiday Cottage. This year we've spoken with some people from our county administrative office, and we think they're going to be joining us and taking some wishes. So any other county departments out there, or any of you that want to just join us in fundraising, what a great thing to do during Christmas to help out children in foster care locally, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we've talked a lot about, obviously, our backdrop and what the meaning of each one, but I think what the public wants to hear about is maybe what we're giving away at our booth.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm sure that's a big deal, isn't it? What's the coolest thing here, you think, Allison?
Oh, well, so my coworker and I got to work last night, and the hot items of the night were our foldable up fans. Oh, yeah. Even though it's in the 80s, it's still a little bit hot out there when you're walking around in the sun. So people came by and they grabbed those fans quickly. And then the other one that people just went so quickly was our big, nice tumbler cups. They are bold and people see them right away and they just want to grab them, but we try to have a conversation with them first to answer any questions. So in some ways I almost feel like maybe we should be raffling them off because they're such a hot ticket item. Yeah. And we also have totes out here, which obviously is super helpful. I don't know about you, but I know plenty of people who come to the fair just for the freebies, and our booth is full of them.
Freebies, you're right. And so the tumbler she's talking about it's kind of a royal blue with white Kern County Human Services on it, but it could be for water, coffee, whatever people drink at the fair. We also have some really cool stress balls, some squeezy stress balls, some lanyards. We have some AM, PM, like if you take several medications at our Medi-Cal booth, we have some medication holders. We also have power banks, right? So those are very cool. They, if your phone runs out, you can charge your phone. We have even some cutting boards, some real thin cutting boards. It is just a potpourri of good stuff, right? And then, the magnets that we're going to be having here at the booth that let you find out about the Holiday Cottage. So.
Yeah, and one of the visions behind giving away all this free stuff was obviously to, let people know about our services, but also our new branding. So a lot of our freebies have our new branding, and we're coordinating with the CAO's office and other county departments to update our branding to have a more cohesive branding. So do you have anything else that you want to say, Jenna, about the fair?
No, I just love the backdrop. I think it's just so unique. And I think our booth is a little set apart because it's just different, right? It's not just somebody sitting in a booth. It's very interactive. And so, just come by. We'd love to meet you. We also have people that can answer any questions you have. So.
we forgot to talk about the most unique thing in our booth, which is our hello booth.
That's right. We have a hello booth. So that is a selfie station, right? And it has, so you just walk up to it. It has very good lighting, and you can take a picture of yourself with your friends, and you can send it to yourself, right?
Yes. So immediately it'll prompt you to send or redo. So if you don't like the first photo, you can redo it. And then you can adjust the lighting also to have it more of a blue light or more of a brighter light, whatever you want. And then you can even create a little GIF for you and your friends, and you can send it as a text message or via email, whatever you prefer.
And our lovely Paula created a really cool frame for it. So yeah, it's fun. It's very fun.
Well, guys, if you haven't been convinced yet, you should be. But if you're going to be here at the fair, might as well come over here, get some free stuff, to talk to our staff, and they would be happy to answer any questions that you have. Come hang out.
We're in building 2, so when you walk through the entrance to the right, that big building to the right, you'll see us right away.
Yes, and if you smell cinnamon rolls, you're in the right building.
I love it.
Thank you guys for joining us for today's podcast. Thank you, Jana, for being interviewed, and we hope we see you guys soon.
Welcome back to today's Mindful Minute, where we will be talking about taking a mental health day. Sometimes work, school, or whatever situation you're in that is causing a lot of stress can negatively affect your personal life. That's why it's so important to recognize when you're on your path to your breaking point before you get there, especially those already struggling with depression and anxiety. The effects of burnout can happen and will show in symptoms of decreased motivation or performance, negative thoughts about yourself or others, and physical or mental exhaustion. If you're not feeling like yourself, maybe it's time to take some time for yourself and go to the beach, maybe even Disneyland, or completely nothing at all, and stay home and recharge without having to worry about any responsibilities. You owe it to yourself to take care of you. Thanks for staying and listening. I'm your co-host, Paula Hernandez, and this has been your Mindful Minute.
Thank you for joining us for the Heartbeat of Human Services podcast today. We hope you'll join us next time.